So we've been talking about Tessa silk a whole lot this week, and also the thing that I've been getting comments about the most, through all of this is corn. Over and over again, corn. Why don't you use corn silk? Have you tried corn silk? I'm about to try corn silk. How about some corn silk? It's a lot of corn. It's corn. So today we are doing the last test for the Tussa Silk, vegan alternative for soap. And yeah, we're doing the corn thing. And I'll tell you more about it in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff.
Hey, Mom.
Yeah.
Do we have any corn?
How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for week 16 of year 3 and the final bar in the Tessa Silk vegan alternative thing that we've been doing. And I'm super excited about it. But yeah, the corn thing, I thought I had already done a video on corn because corn silk is going to be the most obvious and possibly the easiest to source alternative to a Tessa silk in soap making. Now, the reason for that is the Tessa silk and the corn silk both share a lot of the same amino acids. This is my thinking. This is my logic. But they are pretty similar in structure. And so that's a good benefit if you actually are in the summertime and or are in a place where corn grows in December or whatever, and you have access to your corn silk. So today we are going to make a corn silk soap. And we're going to talk about the benefits of corn silk in soap in case you've never used it, because a lot of these comments suggest that it's never been tried by these sudsers. And so that's great. We're going to talk about all of those benefits and make a weird bar of soap that looks nothing like corn. So let's get to the pour so we can talk all about, all things corn in soap. Okay, so in the very last video of this, we are going to do something that I could have sworn we did earlier in the, channel and make a corn silk soap. Could have sworn we did it. I'm pretty sure we did. I cannot find that video anywhere. So we're going to go ahead and make it because so many people have been commenting and saying, hey, I've been thinking about using corn silk, or how about corn silk? Corn silk, you forgot corn silk. I get it. Sorry about it. Like, it's here. Here it is. I didn't do it because I didn't think that I was going to, or I thought that I had already done it. Also, because this is such a short and sweet video, I am including the mixing of the pigments into the oils, and I forgot to do it beforehand, so I ended up having to use my stir stick, and it's not as effective because there's a very small amount of oil, down there, but it reasonably gets the job done, so there's that. But one of the comments that I've been receiving a little bit too much in all of these videos has been, no, Mrs. Soap and Clay, you're wrong. It's not the amino acids. It's the hydrolyzed silk proteins. And first up, I just think that you should probably, people that are saying it like that, like you're wrong, it's this, you should probably change your approach, if you actually want to have good discourse. But also, you should maybe look up what proteins are made from, because yeah, sure, it's the hydrolyzed silk proteins for sure, but proteins are made from amino acids, and while we don't know, again, a ton about what we can do or what, soap does when you include silks or amino acids specifically, like we don't really know, that's not a big, subject of study. We do know, what silk is comprised of? What big proteins, right? And so the main proteins that are in silk are sericin and fibroin, and those proteins are made up of very specific amino acids. And really, when you're looking at amino acids, you're just looking at like the main 22. There are like hundreds and hundreds of actual amino acids, but your big alpha aminos are going to be the ones that you're really going to be looking for when comparing, a banana to a tussa and not an apple to an orange. You get it. So that is ultimately what I did with all of this research and finding why I think a certain, plant material could work in place of tussa for a vegan alternative to tussa was the amino acids, because that's what proteins are made of. You get it? Cool. So anyway, corn silk is one of the, most obvious things to use in place of tussa. I think first and foremost, the reason why it was like used and it's known about or whatever is because it looks an awful lot like tussa silk. You know what I mean? And so you have the strands of the tussa versus the strands of the corn. It's like, well, maybe they do the same thing. They look a lot alike. And so I think that's probably why people first tested it. So we're going to go with that. But also, the science that we do know about corn silk now, because it is actually used in our Latin cultures kind of a lot. They use it, actually they use it topically, but also they'll ingest it for all manner of stuff, good for the skin in a lot of different ways, and also good for the gut and digestion and whatnot. So we do know quite a bit about, corn silk because it has been researched, and it's been researched because people have expressed an interest in researching it, which is really how that all begins. And then we find out more information about whatever it is that exists around us. But anyway, amino acids, very similar to what you're going to find in tussa. So I would expect to have the same, silky, slippery, nice slip and shine that you would find from tussa in soap. And by expect to, I mean, we do. This is going to be, again, the easiest, replacement for tussa if you're looking for vegan alternatives and you still want that silky smooth feel, because it's been done a lot. Now, as far as how much you use, again, it's all over the board, depending on, what blog you read. It's anywhere from a tablespoon per pound of oils or a tablespoon for a 5-pound batch, just like with, tussa. And so I don't have that footage. I don't know what happened to it, but what I use is a whole bunch, because you have a whole bunch. If you're shucking all that corn, right, because you want some delicious corn on the cob for your next grill, event or whatever, you have a lot of those fibers left over, like a lot. And so why not put them to good use and put a lot in? So I would say I put, a hefty handful in. Is it necessary? Probably not. You can probably do this with much, much less. But that's what I did, because again, I have a lot of it right now. That is one of the downsides of using corn silk, though. It's kind of seasonal. You know what I mean? It's hard in the month of March to find corn silk in the Pacific Northwest, to find corn, like unshucked corn. And so that's something to keep in mind if you are a big griller during the summer times, during summer months. Just save all that corn silk and, put it in a bag, just like Sandy did. And she sent me all the clematis and the dandelion and everything. And then you can have it for your winter soaping. But if you don't prepare, if you're like me and you're not prepared, then you have to go, look for corn silk when you need to make a corn silk soap. And that's not as fun. But all of the other options that I've done, like a banana, well, those exist all the time. At least they do in my world, So that's just, again, something to keep in mind. But with corn silk, again, as you could see with the lye solution when we were doing the straining, not a lot of it remained. And that's the one that there wasn't a lot of residue left behind. Nothing really needed to be strained out with it. And that's what you're also going to expect with the tussa. Very little remains. And so there's no real reason to even strain it. But I did just want to show you, that was the case, really. And as far as the design of this soap, we haven't really talked about it. I had no design for this soap. I needed to make a corn soap. And so I didn't want to make corn. I didn't want to make it look like corn or smell like corn. So I just made a soap. That's what I was in the mood to make. And so that's what I made. Now let's go check out this cut and see how shiny it is. Okay, and onto the cut, and yeah, it is so shiny. We have some discoloration on the top. That is because of the fragrance oil I used. Please don't ask me what it is. I do not have the notes in front of me. I have no idea, but it will probably discolor a little bit. And wait, I do know. It was a really weird mix. It was like chocolate orange truffle and bay rum. It interestingly smells really good, but very, very shiny, very, very hard. Just like with all of the soaps that we've done for this test, everything was made using my basic 3 blend, so equal parts coconut, olive, and palm. It was C-popped, it was gelled, and they were all cut within 12 hours, or at the 12-hour mark of pouring. And that design's super cute. You know, the little weird thing that I did with the hanger swirl. Again, there was no rhyme or reason for any of it. I started out with like a mantra swirl pattern thing and then decided to take a hanger to it. I was just playing. But C-popped, gelled, cut within 12 hours or at the 12-hour mark. And again, this bar, very, very hard, just like all of the rest of them. And so I'm really thinking that the one commonality that we have, right, is that amino acids were added in some form. So this is what I'm going with. This is my theory. I'm not going to like go get a PhD on it and just do nothing but study amino acids in soap or something, because that seems pretty tedious. But this is my working theory right now. And I think that has something to do with it. I don't know exactly what, but I think that's the reason. Now, all of these bars, super beautiful. They're nice and shiny and everything like you would expect with, you know, a Tussa. And that's good because, again, this is pretty much the easiest port from Tussa. But we still have to test all of these. And so that is what will be coming up in the final video. We will have 7 soaps that we will be testing, 6 that I've made on the channel that you have seen this week. So the 2 dandelions, the clematis, the rose, the banana, the corn, plus a Tussa soap. And I did not show the making of the Tussa soap because I did not make the Tussa soap. I am a vegan line because that's what my customer base likes. But, you know, my friends are not. And so I have a girlfriend who lives in the neighborhood and has been getting into soap. And I have been, you know, I've been teaching her and whatnot. And she was quite excited to make, you know, a Tussa silk because she does not do vegan soaps. She really likes using the animal fats and stuff for, you know, there's a lot of reasons why you would use an animal fat in soap. And one of hers is like, I want to use every part of the experience, whatever. It's all a thing. So anyway, she made a Tussa soap under my supervision. So we'll be testing that against the 6 that I have made tomorrow in tomorrow's video. So we can check the lather and the slip and the silkiness and all of the things. So definitely I look forward to that. It feels like a long, fun, crazy journey. And also I don't feel like I'm done. I still want to do all kinds of stuff. You guys are giving me such cool options like okra. Okra sounds fascinating. I want to do that too. And there it is, my corn soap that looks nothing like corn, and that's perfectly fine with me. I wanted to play with some pigments, and I was not in the mood to even process how to make something look like corn. And also, I don't know what corn smells like, so I just kind of did whatever I wanted with that, because I guess the point of it all is to, you know, do the lather test, which we will be doing.
Do we have any corn?
But yeah, the point is the lather test, and so we will be doing that tomorrow. We're going to be testing all 6 of these bars, their lather. We're going to talk about hand slip. We're going to talk about the silkiness of the lather. We're going to talk about the lather and the bubble itself, all of the things, and you're going to get to see them all side by side to compare and see, you know, what would be the big winner for the Tussa Silk vegan replacement. But I got to go because apparently I have to go make my children some corn. So I'm going to go do that. Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate you each and every day. Obviously, you guys are amazing. I'm speaking specifically to the Sudsers in that statement. But I will see you all again tomorrow for another round of Tussa Silk vegan replacement tests in lye solution infusion things. Soapy fun. Bye.